This is New Global Media, and we look at some of the issues around the protests these days. Statement from my Ahmed Fati. The right to protest must respect the law. My Ahmed Fati has stressed that the right to protest is the heartbeat of democracy. It must operate within the bounds of law and order. He warned that while citizens have the right to voice grievances, any action that breaches the law undermines the very freedom democracy is meant to protect. He wrote, "The sacred right to protest stands as democratic beating heart, yet it must pulse with the arterial boundaries of law and order. For when citizens raise their voices in righteous dissent, the guardians of peace, law, and order bear an equal sacred duty to ensure that expression does not metastasize into chaos, and that legitimate grievances does not bat illegitimate voices. Democracy, that sublime intervention of human governance, when misunderstood as license rather than liberty, becomes not civilization's crowning achievement, but its grievous peril, such as mob masquerading as a movement, anarchy draped into the false robes of righteousness. The majesty of law knows no favorites, bends to no faction, yields to no crowd. It must fall like rain upon the just and unjust alike. For in that imperial cascade lies our only salvation from the tyranny of the strong over the weak, the many over the few, the passionate over the principles. Justice wears a blindfold not from ignorance, but from wisdom, and those sworn to uphold their decrees must do so with unwavering resolve, whether the transgressor wears a crown or carries a banner, whether they command armies or march in them. Why? Simply because the rule of law is democracy's steel spine, and without it, all our freedom collapse into the dust of history's broken promises. Let the court act according to law and nothing else. Let our laws be enforced fairly and impartially. Every citizen has rights, but in the exercise of those rights, every citizen should be bold and brave to bear the legal consequences of our actions. That is the dictate of the democracy we all claim we must practice. I have always believed that law must be respected by all without distinction. That is, order not to be consumed by the law. One must, as a democratic necessity, obey the law. Message from Fatou Camara Jr. The Gambia is a complete message from Fatou Camara Jr. The Gambia is in complete darkness, a nation in shambles. President Adam Barrow has woefully failed us, and now they punish us for daring to speak out. Peaceful youths whose only crime is demanding a better future are being arrested and thrown into mile two like criminals. That is whether the line has been crossed. President Adam Barrow, may Allah be our witness, and may He judge you and your government. You were entrusted with our hopes, and we've turned them into dust. Life under your leadership has become a nightmare for ordinary Gambians, especially the youth. We are jobless, voiceless, and punished and pushed to the margins in our own country. To every genuine Gambian youth, at home or abroad, don't stay silent. Sit your parents down and explain what's really happening. If you are outside the Gambia, make the time, call your family. Are we solving a problem or stoking a fire that may burn us all? By David Kujabi. 23 youths have been remanded at Mile 2 and several more are under police custody. Their alleged crime staging a peaceful protest to demand answers from the Gambia Public Utilities Regulatory Authority PURA, answers and action on what would benefit every Gambian. Some might argue that they violated the law and the law must be enforced. But I ask, what easier, demanding public authorities to do what is right by and for everyone, or unceremoniously bundling up youths and sending them to jail? Who did those young people truly offend to deserve such punishment? Is this the spirit and intent of the law? Does the problem vanish if they are convicted? Do we then pat ourselves on the back, decline we have served justice? History reminds us that clamping down on youth dissent has never brought peace, only more danger, mistrust, and eventually upheaval. Let us now let us not deceive ourselves that Gambia is immune. Lessons from elsewhere. For example, in Nigeria, you have NSAS protests in 2020. Nigerian youths rose against police brutality, demanding the disbandment of SARS. The state responded with curfew, arrest, and the infamous Lekki toll gate shooting, where soldiers fired on unarmed protesters. The result, a generation radicalized, institutions mistrusted, and the state still grappling with its legitimate deficit. In Senegal, Ousmane Sonko protest 2021 to 2023. When opposition leader Ousmane Sonko was arrested and barred from elections, Senegalese youth flooded the street. The response was mass arrest, internet blackout, and live ammunitions left dozens dead. Once hailed as West Africa's democratic model, Senegal's image was scarred. Ironically, the very repressive that sought to silence them propelled Sonko's movement into power by 2024. In Guinea, youth versus the military junta. After Alpha Conde's constitutional manipulations at the 2021 coup, Guinea's youth confronted the junta with protests. Security forces answered with bullets. The opposition was not crossed. Instead, cycle of violence deepened and Guinea grew more diplomatically isolated, trapped in its own instability. In Sudan, 2018-2029 revolution, youth led sit-in that brought down Omar al-Bashir after 30 years in power. The regime sought, arrested, and shut down the internet, but repression only hardened results. At the end, it was not the bullet, but the will of the youth that prevailed. Uganda, Bob Wine and the Youths Mobilization 2018 to 2021. Bobby Wine awakened Uganda's youth majority with a cry for change. Museveni's government responded with arrests, torture allegations, and lethal crackdown. Yes, Museveni still links to power, but at the cost of deep generational resentment and growing isolations abroad. Tunisia, Arab Spring sparked 2021, 2010, 2020, 2011. One young man's despair lit the fire that toppled Ben Ali. The regime's attempt to cross the protest only spread then faster, igniting revolutions across the Arab world. What are the patterns? Repression buys time, but never legitimacy. Governments may silence one protest, but grievances will faster and resurface louder and angrier, more determined. Youth are the tipping point. Whether they form the majority, no state can silence them forever. Cracking down erodes international standing. Nigeria, Senegal, and Uganda each saw its reputation tarnished under the weight of repression. Leaders must choose dialogue over brutality. For example, in Ghana, the 2014 Occupy Flagstaff House protest pushed reforms without bloodshed. It showed that legitimacy is strengthened, not weakened, when space is created for dissent. The question, then, is not whether Gambian youth broke the law. The question is whether our leaders are willing to learn from history or repeat its darkest chapter.